Hi Ben, I hope you don't mind me sending you this in. I just thought it may be of some interest to you. This was sent to me by 3 young men from the Barnoldswick area of Lancashire. Almost every other weekend, these 3 men would get together and travel down to Stocks Reservoir in the middle of Gisburn Forest. When they arrived at Gisburn Forest, they would often build up a little campfire and just sit around telling stories. Occasionally, yes, the odd can of beer would come out and the guys would occasionally exchange scary stories. On this particular night, the guys had all had a couple of drinks and told a few stories. The night wasn't much different to any other night, except for the weather. The weather had started to take a turn for the worst. The 3 guys then decided that it was probably best to get out of the rain and take a short nap in the car. The plan was to drive home in the morning as soon as daylight came along. But after about 40 minutes, the driver of the car said that he could feel movement. At first he thought it was just the car beginning to slide on the wet surface of the grass. However, he soon realised that the car was actually being lifted off from the ground, over towards the passenger side. He could hear a grunting noise as the car slowly got higher and higher. The windows of the car, he said, were covered in condensation, but through the passenger side window, he could clearly see 2 red eyes looking into the car. By this point, the other 2 guys were also wide awake, and all 3 men became absolutely terrified from what was happening. The driver fumbled around as he tried to start the ignition, and as soon as he got the car engine started, whatever this thing was, dropped the car back down to the ground. They sped away at great speed and never returned ever again. All 3 guys are still adamant, even to this day, that what they witnessed was something very, very scary, and possibly even from out of this world. They estimated that the size of this thing, whatever it was, must have been in excess of 7 feet. This is a really weird one. This is a great story. Thank you for sending me this in. Bizarre. Unlike anything that we've heard of you so far, we've had the Bigfoot stories and the dogmen stories, UFOs and things like that, but what is this thing? Like, what is capable of lifting a car off the ground with 3 men inside? Very, very strange. And the grunting sounds. Now, was that like grunting that we'd expect from a pig or grunting from like a bear? Very, very strange incident and creepy as hell, no doubt, for the 3 guys that experienced this. And we can all sit back and say, that doesn't sound real, this sounds real, and pick which ones we like, which ones we don't. But for the 3 guys involved in this, I'm sure this was very real. And it's like when I recall any of my stories or experiences that I've had, whether it be with the paranormal or other strange things that I just can't explain, I always feel like the people listening maybe have an air of doubt about them. But does it really matter if I know what I experienced is real and the way it affected me? That's really all that matters, I think, in these situations. Sorry to go off a tangent there. One thing I am interested in about this story is the guy reported that the condensation inside the car steamed up all the windows, and he could only see through the passenger side these 2 red eyes. But then later on in the story, he says that this thing must have been in excess of 7 feet tall. I'm just curious as to how he made that assumption if he couldn't see outside the car. Now, that's not me discrediting this story in any way, shape or form, but I just do like to pick every now and then at certain parts of people's stories and just see if I can make more sense of it, or maybe even gain more details by asking these questions. Absolutely fascinating story. I love this one, and it really does leave many, many question marks as to what this thing was. You guys have been awesome as always. Thank you for sticking around with me to the end. Give this one a thumbs up. Drop down in that comments box below, guys, because you already know that the YouTube algorithm loves comments. Subscribe if you haven't already. Take it easy, stay safe. Wherever you are in the world, look after yourselves. And if you are in a position to do so, then please do look after somebody else as well. Until next time, guys, I'll see you on the next one.